Yeah, you know what time it is when you hear my voice. You all know what time it is. Get that crack pipe out of your mouths. Bitcoin, unfortunately, has annihilated so many of my fellow bears. It's annihilated so many of my beloved bears. And we're up a massive 26%. I was getting DM after DM after messages from bulls laughing at me. They may have won the battle, but I, my friends, will win this war. Michael Saylor is finally in profits. Tom Lee is also up a whopping 27%. Some of these charts are hitting harder than crack cocaine. The bears, unfortunately, have been squeezed so hard they've been wiped out. This is the biggest short squeeze we've had in a very, very long time. Maybe in history. So here we are, where we're not supposed to be. Bitcoin's return for the monthly in August is a whopping 23%. In the previous bear markets, we've had red monthly candles for August and September. In 2018, we've had red monthly candles in both these periods. And in 2014, we've had a down month of 17% followed by 20%. So what on earth happened here? Bitcoin is currently above its bull market support band. We did say previously, every time we hit this as resistance. The first time was here at 95,000 US dollars. The second time was 80,000. And this time looks different. Closest comparison is 2018 compared to this bear market. So what on earth happened right over here? We were following this to a T, ladies and gentlemen, and now we have a divergence. Instead of going down, we decided to do a massive glorious pump. We've gone above the bull market support band by a whopping 15%. And in the previous rally, we went above it by a mere 5%. We stayed in that range from here to here for around 14 days to later hurdle back down. The RSIs are massively oversold at the moment, and the volume doesn't look the best. Every rally has a smaller and smaller volume indicator. So all the bulls are laughing at us. Well, they're laughing at me, hurdling abuse, but we've been here before. In the previous cycle, Bitcoin peaked at 9,891. In this cycle, it peaked right over here at 97,000 and some change. Just add a zero. And then again, right over here, we peaked at 8,424. Add a zero. And we peaked right over here at around 83,000 US dollars and some change. And now we peaked over here again at 7,300. Add a zero. This is 77,000 US dollars. We can continue to liquidate some shorts. I would not advise you, lads. I will not advise you to short here. A lot of bears like us are trying to short this. This is not an area you short. Both the bulls and the bears need to be sufficiently wrecked before we can see sustainable higher prices. In 2018, we had so many rallies, so many sucker rallies. The first one was a massive 91%. The second one was a massive 55%. I promise you, a lot of folks thought that we have bottomed. And again, right over here, went up a whopping 45%. All of this is premature. A lot of folks got burnt here. It went up a massive 24%. We're doing the same thing yet again. And this is what we call a sucker's rally. The RSIs went up to a massive amount of around 77%. Every time people thought that this was surely a real rally. We have this in markets each and every day. Most of you have never heard about this stock, and we're just demonstrating the same thing that Bitcoin done. It went above the bull market support band, held there for quite some time, and then headed lower. Jumped again, and people were very, very bullish. It held there for a little while, and then we headed back down. And again, and again, and again, and again, and again. This is a sucker's rally. Every time the rally is so steep, and it makes people believe that we have bottomed because the buyers are so desperate to change the course of this stock. And unfortunately, what tends to happen is the buyers run out, short squeeze, or whatever you want to call it, and the sellers step in. The same thing is happening with Bitcoin. Exact same thing, until one day it breaks down, and it continues to break down. However, buyers are stubborn. The bulls are stubborn, and what they tend to do is give you a curveball. This is happening right now. Even the RSIs are similar to Bitcoin's price action. Some of you bulls don't know what a fucking bottom is. I'll explain to you in plain English what a bottom is. A bottom is when the volume increases, it spikes, there's a massive sell wall, and that is the bottom. I bought the very, very bottom, and it's never, or 99% never, gonna make new lows. When the volume steps in and the price hurdles down, that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call in the industry pure capitulation. Here is another example. We have volume increasing while the price goes down, and this is the biggest volume we've seen in this chart or in this asset class we've seen in a very, very long time. When this happens, that is capitulation. Bitcoin, in my opinion, has not bottom. We are doing exactly the same thing that we done in the charts I've shown you earlier. We're literally doing the same thing. I've given you example after example after example, and this is a sucker's rally. It wants to take in as many victims as possible. Now, will we head up higher? I'm not opposed. I'm not opposed to that. I'm really not opposed to that. We could do something where we head up higher and clip this area. Well, we head up higher and clip this area. I'm really not opposed to it. I really am not opposed to it. We can head up to 85 or 86, but this will be a sucker's rally. This is not how bottoms are formed. Now, there are some folks that are comparing this right over here, this over here, to this drop over here, and they're saying that basically we're doing the same thing that we've done previously, and now we're already in spring. So they're comparing this right over here and this right over here with this pattern here. Now, okay, this is a good argument. I have to admit, this is a good argument, but the calendar has not finished. The bear market has not finished. We're still in a midterm year. This was the following year. This was 2023 spring. We're still in a bear market year. So to front run it and say that we're not even in December yet, and people are front running this thing and saying, yep, that's it, because we didn't have a euphoria, we're not going to have a steep decline. It does not make sense to call prematurely that this is the bottom. I know everyone wants to see green candles, including myself. Everyone. This is a sucker's rally, the biggest sucker's rally. Every bear market feels like this. Every bear market. Let me teach you a story. In 2019, we rallied a massive 300% to make a lower high right over here. It went down a massive. It was still a bear market, went down 73%. If you bought around here, your portfolio dropped 3/4. This is a bear market rally. It went up a massive 44%. A bear market rally again went up a massive 43%. And yet again, a bear market rally went up by 18%. In 2018, in 2014, we've done the same thing. Massive rallies from here to here. Huge rallies that made people think that we're gonna continue in this bull run. So 100% over here. Again, you get my point, 73%. And again, right over here, from here to here, we went up by 94%. And again, right over here, we went up by 50%. And then later retraced. I know right now, it doesn't look like it will retrace. I know this. You guys are looking at this thinking, how on earth is this even gonna head to new lows? The CVD score has been the best indicator. Every single time it hits the green line, that marks the bottom, or close to it. We haven't even got close to it. We're not even nowhere near it. We're tethering just above it. The realized price, we haven't got there every single bear market. We've got to the realized price. We haven't got there in this cycle. We're nowhere near it. One of the best indicators is the MVRZ score. Every time we've got underneath it or below it, so it has to be minus, ladies and gentlemen, this was a excellent place to know that the bear market is almost over. We're not there yet. We're sitting around 0.8. We were previously around 0.2. In 2018, we were minus 0.35, and in the previous cycle to that one in 2014, we were minus 0.4. Just to round this up, we can continue to go up higher. More and more bears are going to revenge trade. So we'll head up higher to around 82, and we're going to most definitely head back down to form new lows. Let me repeat, I know it doesn't look like it, ladies and gentlemen, but we're gonna form new lows. The S&P 500, in my opinion, has topped. We're gonna see a 10 to 15% correction. We're gonna see a lot of volatility. The Nasdaq has formed a lower high. The VIX is close to the very bottom. Now, when the VIX gets to these kind of levels, we normally see volatility come up, just like the Devo for Bitcoin, which we did say that volatility is going to pick up, and it actually did. There you have it, volatility picked up. This is very similar to VIX. VIX is the same thing, and we're going to see volatility pick up to the downside or to the upside. I try my best to avoid the news because it's just all fugazi. all fugazi, but this one is important. We got my boy Bassett, and he's wolfing on the net. He's really wolfing on the net, and he is actually trying to fake or just manipulate demand and make it seem like there's demand for treasuries and TLTs and all sorts. So he's gone up in there and he's just buying all these treasuries and adding them to its balance sheet. And the stock market, I mean the bond market, has not even reacted. We were expecting the bond market to hurtle down and crash after this massive announcement, but what's really happened is the 2 years heading up higher, the 30 years heading up higher, and the 10 years heading up higher. They don't agree with him. They're telling the Fed, irrespective of what's happening, you need to hike because inflation is about to get out of control. He's running around explaining why he can't believe that oil prices are not down. That oil prices are not down. We're going to get inflation. And this is what they wanted. They want the economy to run hot. They want hyperinflation. This is what they want. And most certainly in this K-shaped economy, what they really want to do, ladies and gentlemen, is take from the middle class and put it in the hands of the 1%. So whenever they do money printing in this K-shaped economy, what they're actually doing is taking money from your own pockets by printing money, taking money from your hard-earned money, your hard-earned jobs, ladies and gentlemen, so they can have asset prices going to the roof. This is their ultimate plan. They don't even want to see the stock market even crater a little bit. All they care about is just seeing year on year on growth. And literally, this is what they're doing. The stock market, in my opinion, has peaked for now. The bond vigilantes will step in, and they're not buying this bluff. They're really not buying this bluff. The debt ceiling continues to go up higher and higher. Inflation is sticky, and it looks like it's going to head back higher. So who are the bond market vigilantes? These are participants that punish the government for what they consider to be bad policy choices. We saw the bond vigilantes come out in 1979. We saw them come out and appear in 1994, and we saw them in 2022. Remember Keir Starmer and Liz Truss for their reckless fiscal policies. The bond market revolted, so they had to hike interest rates. Too many bears were getting greedy and they were shorting the living hell out of Ethereum. I bought the very bottom. I put it all out here. If you need some help, join our inner circle. We bought the bottom of Bitcoin. I'm not fussed. I'm really not fussed. We bought right over here. I've got timestamps. I've got receipts. We bought here as well. Longed it here, ladies and gentlemen. We sold here. I'm not lying. I'm not capping. This is all true. I know a lot of you get lost in the algo. Do yourself a favor. Press that like button, subscribe, and come join us in our inner circle. Ethereum looks really similar to the previous cycle. We went up a massive 129% from the very bottom till here. We've gone up by 63%. We can continue to go up higher and liquidate even more shorts. I think a lot of folks are shorting. A huge amount of people are shorting, and these market makers like Jane Street will take advantage of all of you. Next area of resistance is sitting at 2600 and some change. We can clip this, ladies and gentlemen, and then hurdle down and consolidate after this massive liquidation squeeze. I know some of you are dunking on me, like you're really dunking on me because some of your shit coins have gone up by 20% or 18%, whatever. I'm going to give you I'm going to congratulate all of you. Yeah, I'm going to congratulate all of you. Well done to all of you. But on the yearly, it looks like this. The yearly, it looks like this, ladies and gentlemen, on every single chart. They're still down by 70-80%. Yes, today you've gone up. The only one I really respect is Hyperliquid. On the yearly, it's up by a massive 86%. Zcash is up, VVV, but these ones are not really the ones you really concentrate on. Hyperliquid is the only one I really respect. Everything else is doing remarkably poorly. The market has to prove to me that you are really what you're about. You are what you say you are, because hope is a bitch and we've all slept with her. So congratulations on the daily performance. ENA is up 41%. You have Aave up 14%. You have Bitcoin Cash up a massive 32% for the day. But this is just the beginning. New lows are coming. New lows are just around the corner. Bitcoin dominance is continuing to go up. I know your altcoins look like they're performing on the daily, like, oh wow, amazing, but Bitcoin dominance is actually heading up higher. That means Bitcoin is taking more and more market share from altcoins. This is the truth. Yes, there's volatility, but volatility doesn't give you a direction. It just tells you there's a lot of trading happening and market makers just buying and selling. No one's buying these altcoins. It's just a exit liquidity. Now this is heading to my target of 65%. Once we head there, then we can talk about this elusive, strange thing that we've all obsessed about called altcoin season. I'm still holding this short. I know you message me and you're very, very happy, you're ecstatic, but we haven't broken out. We're still in a range. We're in a range for everything. Where the only thing that really has performed is Ethereum. Bitcoin is still sitting in a range. We haven't even formed a higher high, and everyone's really, really excited. Hugely, like massively excited. I've never seen the market this excited. I got people calling me saying, oh yeah, we're finished. Like, the bear market's over. No. I never ever flip-flop. We're forming the same thing that we've done previously. Nothing has changed. The trend has not changed at all. New lows are coming for this coin. In a bear market, we tend to backtest the previous support. That's all we do. So every time we've backtested it again and again, right over here, we just backtest, and another backtest. That's all that's happening. Most of these coins have the same market maker. So whether it's Jump, whether it's whoever is in here, they all have the same market maker. Have you noticed? They all move similarly. It's just the same market makers. No one's buying this. No one is buying this, my friend. Most of this is happening from market makers just to keep the liquidity there and trap innocent retail folks. We are just doing the same thing here. We're doing the same thing here, backtesting again, and we are backtesting. Every time we've done this, we keep backtesting and backtesting just to confirm that this is actually a bear market. And then what we tend to do again and again, we've done this all the time, make new lows. And then again, we backtest, make new lows, backtest, and that's all she wrote. We've dropped from here to here by around 60%. It's very, very close to the previous highs. The chart looks incredible. This is what you buy, ladies and gentlemen. You DCA into great businesses, great protocols with a great team that makes profit, that has a use case, such and such, something productive. You don't buy meme coins, and certainly you don't buy some of these shitters. We have Pendle is forming a sideways accumulation, which is pretty decent. What you want to see is some sideways movement, just like this right over here. This is what everyone wants in their project. I currently hold this. This is a bottoming formation. What you tend to want to see is once all of this or the downside is eliminated, what you'd like to see is a consolidation for a very long time. Once that happens, this is really, really bullish for a long period of time, and then we carry on with our ascent. Really good. I bought here and I was just DCing all the way down. This looks really, really good for another cycle. I think stable coins are going to be a massive thing in crypto. MicroStrategy is pretty much doing the same thing they done over here. We formed an up thrust, then we formed a right shoulder, up thrust, right shoulder. Then we headed back into this area. We broke down. Same thing happened. We broke down, another up thrust and another up thrust. And then finally, we're forming this stage of the market where we retest the previous resistance or the previous support, shall I say, to form another drawdown. Some of these shitters are starting to see some life, but we've been here so many times. We've been here countless of times. And ladies and gentlemen, hope is a bitch. And I know some of you have been sleeping with her far too long. We've seen this time and time again. Cake, same thing happened. We get these kind of breakouts, but they're not sustainable, unfortunately. What I'm looking for is something that is more durable and sustainable, which normally happens in the following year. In a midterm election, we're just going to see a lot of volatility, huge amount of volatility, but this is all noise. I promise you, in my humble opinion, this is all noise. In the next 2 weeks, everyone's going to forget about this.